Oh, dramas already. Is that Paul Freestone that stopped on the exit of the pits here? Coming up Mountain Straight, and dramas here for the Toronto. I believe that's the one that was caught up in the lapping saga yesterday, if you will.
Bit of drama with that, with John Bauer trying to take evasive action, and Glenn Seaton was able to work his way through. So this race with a full reverse grid, there'll be some different names at the pointy end of the field. And the fast guys from the Touring Car Masters working their way through. Should be an absolute thriller. Another 6-lap encounter. And some pretty handy cars and a lot of cubic inches, Matt Nolte, at the pointy end of this one.
It was just unreal to see 50-plus cars in a rolling start. They were still coming out of the chase as we took the green flag. You and I are both hardcore tragics at Mount Panorama, but that was something special. We're going to see that very, very soon here as the cars are on the formation lap, the warm-up lap, ready for race number 2 of this year's event here at Mount Panorama. So rolling down towards the elbow. They'll take their rows of 2 very, very soon. Coming down towards Forest Elbow. It's Super Saturday here at Mount Panorama, the Touring Car Masters on the circuit here at their spiritual home. Richard Crowell alongside me, ready for what is going to be, if we saw yesterday's race as the best, this could match it.
Terrific race yesterday, won by Glenn Seaton. Second win of the season for the Thunder Road Racing Team, Ford Mustang, and Cito's second in TCM at Mount Panorama as well. But this reverses the top half of the field, which means there's some new names at the front. And 26 cars over from New Zealand this weekend, Matt Nolte, and a bunch of them at the pointy end of the grid in this one, led by Colin Meadows in his Camaro, Paul Clark alongside him. Big grid, 49 cars to take the starter in this one.
Take a deep breath, because there's a lot of cars to go through in these rows of 2 for the Touring Car Masters. Leo Tobin didn't have a great run yesterday. He'll start at the pointy end of the field here. Greg Holden is in the field. Jim Richards will start deep in the pack here again in the Shannon's Insurance entry alongside Cuddy Cuttins.
There's 1,500 cubic inches in the first 2 rows of the grid. It's pretty impressive. Some of those big central muscle cars, over 400 cubic inches. A little bit further back, Dr. John Elliott in his XU1 Tirana. Now you'll see some familiar names from the Touring Car Masters side of things. Guys like Cameron Tilley and the Valiant Pacer. And then from the last 3 rows of the grid, Stephen Johnson, Adam Bressington, Brett Yordan, Glenn Seaton, John Bauer, and right from the very back, Eddie Abel-Nika, who failed to qualify, having an illness on Friday. And only made the start in time for race 1 yesterday afternoon. So Stephen Johnson has an onboard camera. He will be very, very busy in this motor race, working his way through from the back of the field.
Look at the cars ahead of him. He's just jumped out the little Toyota 86 and getting set for a few more horsepower than what he had in that race. Starting from near back of the field, Bruce Anderson is in the field too. He'll carry one of our onboard cameras today. Over 50 cars here at Mount Panorama. So we get set with some guys that were buried down the pack in the middle of the field. Yesterday's race get a chance to dance on the big stage here. So we get set on Super Saturday. Hope you enjoyed all the action here, wherever you're watching around the country, as the green flag is set to come out in race number 2 of the Touring Car Masters here at Mount Panorama.
Great start. Colin Meadows running that Chaparral tribute livery on his Camaro. Paul Clark around the outside, a little bit of contact further back. Some of the Kiwi Central Muscle Car runners just rubbing a little bit of paint, but so far so good through turn 1. Every driver was sat down before the start of this race. Big drivers briefing. Everyone told just to have a cool head on the opening lap of the race especially, and make sure they got through clean without any dramas. Turn 2, always a hot point of action at Mount Panorama. Everyone giving racing room so far.
So they climb 3 wide, 2 wide. Some try for 4 wide. Doesn't work here on Mountain Straight. We climb the top. Junior Johnson clawing his way through the field already. That's Keith Kasulki ahead in the HQ Monaro. They climb up to tyre power cutting.
Started 4th last, he's already 32nd. Stephen Johnson at the first split, running up the hill.
Doing it with ease, isn't he? They climb the top here over at Sulman Park. Beautiful conditions now. We had some cloud earlier today, and now turned to be a magic day here at Mount Panorama. Across the top of McPhillamy we go. Just got to be patient here, don't you? Don't do anything silly if you're coming from the back. Bow up to 38th position already.
Doesn't take much time, does it? For the good guys with all the experience to work their way through. Adam Bressington on the outside, yellow Camaro. That's Keith Kasulki in the HQ GDS in front. This is Stevie J in the thick of the action. Big GDHO. Cameron Tilley goes around the outside in the Valiant Pacer, and there's Bow. So Steve's just been caught up here and balked by, ironically, a car running a tribute livery to his old man's True Blue Falcon from 1981.
Just had a quick look out to the left.
So down the hill they go, really busy, but everyone keeping cool heads so far. And just up in front is Adam Garwood, the 17-year-old from Launceston, who was the star of the show in yesterday's race. First time at Mount Panorama, started 9th and got 3rd for about 1.5 meters before he hit some gravel up at turn 2 and just had a half a lose and backed the car into the tyres. It's a little bit of damage to the right-hand rear corner of the Ford Capri, but terrific drive and ended up with the fastest lap of the race as well.
Had the sledgehammer out on that car overnight to bash the little Piranha back into shape as Wayne Mercer gets sideways through the chase. And here come the guys from the back of the field here. It's led by Clark at the moment. The Kiwis 1, 2 and 3. Alan Bowen is the first of the leading Aussies here as we take a look at the restart. Jason Gomersall came into pit lane and Bruce Anderson not happy with what's going on here.
Yeah, I think preservation for Gomersall just bailed out and decided to go through pit lane to drop him right out of all the dramas in the ISEC Racing Tirana. So Bruce had some issues there with the way the field was lined up. Guy who's got 2 starts in the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000. Oh, wow. Lock the rears down into turn 1.
These cars are so cool, Rich, you don't want to bend them. The birds scatter as 50-odd cars come down pit straight here at the start.
It's really busy. That's Al Bougen in the Mercury Comet, leader of the Touring Car Masters Brigade in this race. Started from 3rd, upgraded that car to a 302 Ford V8 this year. And here it is from Stevie J, Jim Richards, just in front.
Look at Garwood go. He was out of here. In fact, Jimmy didn't make the greatest of starts then, did he? Was that planned, maybe?
Potentially. Jim's always very heads up about these reverse grid races. Doesn't like putting a scratch on the Shannon's Insurance AMC Javelin. Has to go back and answer to Bruce Tyson and Mick Webb if he does in the paddock. Dean Perkins there in that red XD Falcon. He was the leader of the Central Muscle Cars Brigade yesterday. If you're wondering why there's an XD amongst all these slightly more classic machinery, well, Central Muscle Cars allowed a slightly broader scope, not just in models of car, but in the modifications they can make. Bigger engines, some larger, more wilder spoilers, and a bigger wheel and tyre package as well.
So this is further in the field. Tony Hunter starting to come through. That's Adam Bresington across the top of the mountain. Here we go. So these guys still outside the top 20 at the moment. Hunter's 22nd, Garwood 23rd, Bresington in the yellow Camaro. Right behind Dean Perkins as we drop down through Toyota Skyline and down to the Dipper on lap 2.
So Perkins and Bresington are the first, and in fact Mark King in that mix as well. The first of what you consider the leading contenders from yesterday's race. They were through that 5th to 10th position in race 1 on Friday afternoon. So they've made the best ground early and worked their way into the top 20 nice and early. And there is Adam Garwood, the mighty Capri, going very, very nicely. And he's 21st now. Remember, started 6th from last.
17 positions, the young man from Tasmania has made. I'm sure they're having a nice big party down there in Launceston today watching the young fella go at it. This is Bruce Anderson stretching the legs down Conrod Straight.
John Bell up to 34th in 2 and a bit laps, so good progress for the SLR 5000 Tirana, the current leader in the top class of the Touring Car Masters this year.
Johnson now gets a chance to use all the horsepower of that big Falcon down into the chase. Got Wayne Mercer behind, Eddie Abelnika back behind the wheel of car 48. He was feeling a bit sick on Thursday in practice, and legendary racer Kim Jane had a steer of that car, but now starting to slice his way up. He's up to 31st position now.
Saw Cam Crawford in his XA Falcon take the shortcut at the chase.
There's our leaders heading up towards the top of Blundstone Bend here as we work lap 3 of the Touring Car Masters here at Bathurst.
After 40 years in V8s, we've learned that performance matters. That's why we're proud to partner with Craig Lowndes and Team Vortex. Vortex Premium Fuels, designed to clean for better performance.
Be one with innovation and embrace victory. Tangled Tire and Real Madrid. Together as one. Tangled Tire, global partner of Real Madrid.
Hungry Jack's Grill Masters Angus Classic Burger. Thicker, juicier, 100% Aussie Angus beef, flame grilled to perfection. It's just too good to resist. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Don't miss the grand finale as the supercars hit Sydney Olympic Park for the last time. The Supercars Coates Hire Sydney 500. December 2 to 4. Book now at Ticketek.
Okay, I'm onto it. When pain strikes, use Nurofen Zavance. It's absorbed up to 2 times faster than standard Nurofen, giving you effective relief when you need it. Activating Zavance. For fast, effective relief, try Nurofen Zavance.
I will follow you. Ever since you touched my hand, I knew. I love you, I love you, I love you. Where you go, I'll follow, I'll follow, I'll follow. You'll always be my true love, my true love, my true love. Forever.
After 40 years in V8s, we've learned that performance matters. That's why we're proud to partner with Craig Lowndes and Team Vortex. Vortex Premium Fuels, designed to clean for better performance.
You're right on board with Stephen Johnson, who's been doing a bit of sign language around this Mount Panorama circuit, and contact here with the 74 car of Wayne Mercer and Eddie Abel-Nika. Reverses it out, grabs a gear. Well, he gets stuck on the belly. So Wayne Mercer rejoins the circuit after a clash down there at Blundstone Bend and drops him right down the order. Tough break for the number 74 Falcon.
There's contact with Eddie Abel-Nika, the Melbourne's cheapest cars, XB Coupe, up here at Griffin's Bend. So Eddie went down the inside, the lightest of contact between the two that unloaded Wayne Mercer, who ran out of fuel in yesterday's race. He was a lap short. He said to me, I did a Win Cup and I was so close within sight of the line. Really unfortunate for those two guys. They continue on. Out in front, it's Colin Meadows who leads the way from Paul Clark. They've traded the lead once between those two. So the Camaro leads the Mustang in a battle of the US pony cars. Ross in third in his Commodore. Then Eden, Techie and Al Baljan is first of the Aussies. Some moves and shakers further back though, Matt Nolte, working their way into, or close to the top 10. Adam Garwood leading that charge in the Ford Capri on screen into the chase, and he currently sits in 13th place.
Hey, what about the effort from Rusty French as well? He's in the top 10. He's made up 15 positions. There's another legendary name that's cut a few laps around this famous mountain over the years. There he is behind the XD Falcon of Dean Perkins as they come out of Murray's. Through to complete another lap. It's been very clean. Well done to everybody out there today. Over the past two races, they've behaved themselves, and tomorrow we do things differently once again, Krause.
Yeah, the Aussies and the Kiwis will line up on either side of the grid based on their race one finishing order. So that means for the Touring Car Masters runners, it will be Glenn Seaton, John Bowe and Stephen Johnson first, second and third on one row of the grid, and the New Zealand Central Muscle Car runners will line up on the opposite side, and it's a trans-Tasman rivalry. It's a bit like the All Blacks and the Wallabies.
And it's a rolling start. Yeah, my Speedway background, I love rolling starts. Can't wait for that tomorrow morning.
It'll be the wake-up call, won't it, tomorrow morning? 49
absolutely.
cars, many, many thousands of cubic inches lighting up Mount Panorama on a Sunday morning. Still a bit to play out in this one as well. Adam Garwood has been a star this weekend in that Capri. Saw some onboard from that car last night, bouncing off the rev limiter well before they got to the chase.
Wow.
Very quick in a straight line and quick up through the gears as well.
What's been the feedback from the Kiwi drivers? They really enjoyed it. I'm sure they have.
Yeah, eyes like dinner plates, Matt, wide open, trying to work this place out. Bear in mind, coming into race one yesterday, some of them only had 7 or 8 laps in total experience to their knowledge bank at this place. So they're all doing a tremendous job and thoroughly enjoying it. This is Stephen Johnson speaking about enjoying it. I think he's having a good time.
Yesterday morning, qualifying was cancelled. We set the grid on the practice times due to heavy fog around the area. In fact, the fog was lower than this part of the racetrack, but it was deemed unsafe. Now Johnson gets past. Car 17 now moves up to position 20 of this 50-plus car field as he drops down into the Cooper's Dipper. 1.5 laps to go here.
Bow 24th seat in the race one winner, 35th, and just playing the conservative game in this one. For the Touring Car Masters competitors, it is a round of the championship, but every driver will get the same amount of points from this weekend. Given all the variables in the field map this weekend, with 26 cars coming over from New Zealand, they thought it would be best to put on a show and then go to the final round of the TCM Championship later on this year to sort out all the points-paying stuff.
That's going to be cool. Streets of Sydney Olympic Park in December. Concrete canyons, tight street circuits, big muscle cars, expensive.
Stevie J grabs another one. That's the big Dodge Challenger. Run down into the chase. So he's working his way forward. Meadows, Clark and Ross have started their final lap. 1.1 seconds between a couple of Kiwis at the front of the field. Ross sitting about 12 seconds further back in third place. Dalton, Eden, Techie, Bowgen 7th, and Perkins 8th in his XD Falcon. Garwood 9th, and Leo Tobin, the TCM regular, in his Ford Mustang, rounding out the top 10 at the moment.
And these guys left the field. Clark, Meadows and Paul Clark now leaving across the top. 1.1 seconds was the margin there. 12 seconds back to the third place car, and a further 16 seconds back to Grant Dalton here. On this, the final lap at Mount Panorama of race 2 of the Touring Car Masters.
Colin Meadows has driven very, very well, running that tribute livery to the great Chaparral outfit from Trans Am Racing in United States. Been racing in touring, in Central Muscle Cars, I should say, since 2006. Of course, the Chaparrals were so famous, weren't they, in US racing against Roger Penske, who's here this weekend. I think he might be, hopefully, sticking his head over a bit more for this race.
Sure he is.
Keeping an eye on, because this is really the history of the Penske organisation, which of course now has a couple of cars in Superchip Auto Bathurst 1000. Behind them, second place, the margin's 0.6 in the second. Paul Clark, he's from Dunedin on the South Island of New Zealand. 406 cubic inches, thank you very much, under the bonnet of the notchback Ford Mustang. He's only a second-year racer, so big learning curve for him to come to Mount Panorama and really apply the pressure to Meadows, who's leading the way.
Down to the chase for the final time. We inverted the grid on the results of yesterday based on the Australian. Oh, he's had a moment here coming out of the chase. It should be enough. He's got a car up ahead there that might go a lap down here. Nonetheless, these two have been the class act of race number 2.
This will be close, Matt.
It's going to be, because that Tirana is going to hold him up. It's not the same one as yesterday, I hope. Nonetheless, Colin Meadows will take the win in race number 2 of the Touring Car Masters, just over half a second in the end.
Great race. Would have been a worried little moment for Meadows running into the final corner. This is busy. Garwood's got another spot. He's up to 7th place now in the Ford Capri. Bressington around the outside of Techie in that Falcon. Bowgen dives off to the outside of the road in the Mercury Comet, which is the longest race car I've ever seen at Mount Panorama. Oh, an aircraft carrier.
And Bressington down the inside here at the final turn. It's still on here. Rusty's on the move as well.
The big dive bomb from Rusty French. He'll just pull it off. No, he'll just get beaten to the line.
He did that last year in the final race 2 on Sunday morning. Nets himself an 11th place finish in race number 2. How about Adam Garwood? I'm going to give that guy best on ground from 38th position. Finishes in position 6. The kid is a freak.
What a drive. This guy's got some talent. They've got a new Tirana under construction down there in Launceston to roll out for next year's TCM Series. I think they might want to look at keeping the Capri. So Meadows, Clark and Ross, the top 3. Dalton and Perkins completes a Kiwi sweep of the top 5. Garwood, Bressington, Eden, Tristan Techie and Midgley next.
Massive field of cars here that got through race number 2. Rusty French, great drive to him inside the top 20. David Hopper was next. Ellen Bowgen in 13th. Leo Tobin 14th. Stephen Johnson from near back got to 18th, with Tony Karanfilowski and John Bow completing the top 20.
Conservative mode for JB, I think, in that one, Matt, but nice drive through to 20th from what was basically last place. Brendan Mason 23rd, Mark King 24th. He's been in great form this weekend. So too Brett Youlden, who was 31st, and Eddie Abelnica to 33rd.
And the 130 just having a moment here. I think he went a bit further up the track than he was planning to. That's halfway up Mountain Straight. That's a unique way they do it here at Bathurst. They send him off into the campgrounds at halfway up Mountain Straight here. He won an extra scenic lap. Why wouldn't you?
Pretty good for the campers at the back of the paddock, though,
totally.
isn't it? Get a close-up look at the race cars at the end of a race.